how is it for you operating in a male-dominated field?
It's hard. I feel like that's where the imposter syndrome definitely seeps in. And I try to deal with that the best way I know how. Positive affirmations,
Mhm.
and also probably looking to the ones I've already worked with before
Mhm.
and remembering what they said about like my work and my creativity style. But sometimes it just makes you feel inadequate. Like,
Mhm.
the goalpost is always going to keep being moved for
Yeah.
you. You don't get the same opportunities or maybe the same looks that you might get if you were a male photographer. And I'm not saying that there's not other women crushing it in the field. I just feel like it's not as many as I would love to see.
Mhm.
So I would hope that, more women would love to join the field and, take it on as a profession. We see a lot of them in weddings. So I would
Yeah.
hope that they start to step more outside the box and really think about, what drives them and what does creativity look like for them as a photographer,
Yeah.
Again, you can show up and take a picture, but to also like plan a shoot and plan a model and plan a look, I think is a step further
Mhm.
in the industry. So I feel like we can get there, we are woman. I am woman. I am woman. So,
I am woman.
come on out, I'm here to help if you're scared and you want a friend or, even if you just want someone to work with, you don't have to do it alone. I
Yeah.
think that's something that I would really want to send as a message to other creators. You
Mhm.
feel alone, but you don't have to do it alone.
Yeah. I think that's kind of like leans into like the direction I wanted to take the question to, as far as like to younger women coming into the field, right? Who
Mhm.
recognize that like, damn, it's a lot more men here, right? And
Yeah.
and maybe them stepping in, not feeling the sense of community, right?
Right.
And then some of those, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, like some of those pitfalls that we deal with when going through imposter syndrome, right?
Mhm.
Like, what advice, I guess, would you give to like a young woman stepping to the industry, into the field, and some of those things that you may have faced?
Oh, that seems like a tough question. What would I tell the younger ladies? Yeah, I guess start with community. Never be afraid to explore. One right answer is not the answer. So
Mhm.
I think you have to kind of get second opinions in all areas and ask people what works for them and what doesn't work for them.
Mhm.
And just don't be afraid to take risks. I think taking risks is a big part that shows your vulnerability in
Mm.
your work
Mhm.
and, just putting yourself out there. So lean on people, don't be afraid to take risks and trust your gut. There's been
Yeah.
so much stuff I've done where I'm like, why the fuck did I do that? I knew it wasn't gonna be good. I didn't even want to do it,
Right.
but I
Right.
did it just because someone told me
Yeah.
it was right or I thought that was the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
So trust yourself, I
Yeah.
think is a big thing because what you believe is far more important
Yeah.
than trying to impress other people.
Yeah. I think that so let me ask this, because I don't want to answer it prematurely, but for you, what do you think that your creative superpower is, right? So like in speaking to like, I guess, trusting yourself, right?
Mhm.
Um what do you think a superpower of yours would be in your medium?
Ooh, I think attention to detail
Mhm.
and seeing certain things that others don't.
Yeah.
When I think that's kind of about like the angle,
Hmm.
while they might be focused on one thing, I think the finer details are a lot more important. And I
Mm,
think that's why I thrive
yeah.
in the portrait setting because
Yeah.
I'm more about getting up here.
All of it.
I
Yeah.
want
Yeah. Yeah.
this. I'm not looking for
Yeah.
all of it. I mean, I've gotten better about, expanding,
Hmm.
what I do, but I think that's why portraits speak to me so much because it's just bam.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that because your answers kind of like struck another chord in me too. So as far as like the superpower and trusting yourself, I think
Mhm.
that as women, we're designed with our own superpowers that
Yeah.
maybe we don't lean into because of, and not just, I feel like not just in the creative area, or like even in photography, right? But in a lot of places of work, right, it is dominated by men, right? Like you just so happen to, and I think because of the female gaze, right, that we're able to excel in those areas because it's just like, but this little detail right here will take this over the top, right? So I think that if I was to I guess highlight a superpower for women as a whole, like not even just mine, I think that our intuition for like what we're naturally wired with, I think that that would be a superpower that me personally would encourage, right? Like us as women in the industry to kind of like lean into, right? Because I think so often or too often I'm sorry. Oh, I thought that was me. I think that too often we allow the imposter syndrome to be so loud that it kind of cripples us out of leaning into what our ideas were or what we were supposed to bring to life, right? It's so many times where like I won't have the conversation out loud, but I'll get super excited about an idea and I'm just like, oh my God, okay, I gotta, and it's there and I feel it like as if it's real, so excited about it, and then I don't take the time to bring it to life, right? And there was something that I had seen before, and I think that maybe even you and I had the discussion at one point too, right? About when we have ideas, they want to come to life, right? And if we don't bring them to life, they're going to come to life eventually, maybe not by our hands or our creation, right? But because that idea needs to see life, right? It's gonna happen. So I think so many times where I didn't sit to be like, all right, and just make it perfect later, right? But just make it. I will, oh my gosh, I will scroll and I'll be like, what the fuck? Somebody else beat me to it, right? And it's really just like, just as excited or like amplified as I got when I first had the idea. It's just like, damn, I wish I had given it that. And I think that just kind of like goes back to the trusting our intuition, right? As women's natural superpower, right? So. Yeah.
How would you say you incorporate like a female gaze or a feminine touch on your canvases and paintings? I mean, I know you do both, but I do see like you do a lot of male sketches as well. So how would you say you bring your feminine side to a more masculine portrait?
I think that attention, that real attention to detail, right? Like some things that people may not draw or pay a whole lot of attention to, but they find themselves lost in when they actually sit with the work, is like things like the jean designs and you know what I'm saying? Like the textures, because, and that's another thing too, right? About myself. we care. Your shirt's wrinkled, fix it. I think that I've always been a very like, I gotta touch it kind of person, right? Where some people, they're just like, oh, that looks this, or the colors are vibrant, or like you can get a feeling drawn from whatever. Like, I have always been like, yo, let me just touch it. Let me see what it feels like. Okay, but what is that gonna, right? And it's just like, oh, how it looks is everything, right? But like the child in me wants to drag my hand across the wall, right? Like I have to, even in going to museums, right? It's just like I can see the texture coming off of the different artwork, right? So it's like, and fighting the urge to freaking touch this like ancient piece, right? Like don't touch it. But I think that those pieces, and then attention to detail are something that like, I really try to pull out of my work, so it looks as if it has texture. Because, like I said, and then there's times where I'm doing like I guess like mixed media, where I want to do paint and charcoal and crochet or yarn into one piece, right? And it's just because I like the way that it feels. So I think, that attention to my, as far as details concerned, for me is just like.
So you're not even just putting just like your simple, like just coloring it. You're putting in like your touch, your smell, like all your flavor goes into your pieces.
Yeah. If I could make somebody like strike a chord to be like, I wonder what he smells like, or I wonder what she smells
Yeah,
like. Like,
yeah.
I think that would be
I gotcha.
the ultimate, like, Thanos got all his rings type. Right.